Roboja Mayo Colon, among my chumai. Amazon is being Perry, Ata Perry. Anna Camu, a Camuni, Todd and a carre, Todd and a carre. Kikia Madeno, before nowadays. Mambre each. I pay in the group on a corner on a pay.
Especially here, they take the local brew, the locally made here, which would say maybe the kwete, then you'd have kuto, that is the Karamoja one, which the old men normally prefer. Then there is also the ITA one that we have here, the Malua. Then there are those who take the Kasese or the Lira, that is now the real, the Waraji, the local potent gin. Then there are now smaller kind of things that you hear of Afro, those ones packed in small buvera, as they say, those polythene bags. Then there is, of course, beer and the rest. But where you'd find that really there is a high incidence of, or let's say a high prevalence of alcoholism is more on where you find the local brew and the Waraji.
But the one that creates more havoc is the Waragi. It is a gin and it is like a vodka. It is quite a strong drink, and it is sold in small sachets. That costs between 500 and 700 shillings.
Now this one is Afro vodka. That it is measured in a glass, a small glass.
There are two types of Waraji. There is Waraji distilled by the Ugandan breweries, which are licensed by government, and they have quality control. But they also, this Waraji, which is produced by locals, there's one called Wandago, which is brought from Ginger. That is the Waraji which is destroying people's lives. Okay. Yes, it is so strong, it has no quality control, and people resort to taking it because it is cheap. Once you take it and you don't have food, you destroy your liver. You destroy your health. You destroy your strength. Eventually you don't perform. You cannot dig, you cannot look after animals. You perish. The society, alcoholism is a cause of poverty. That's how I say. How do you develop? So that's my view. I am a person who hates poverty, and therefore I hate alcoholism. Because once people resort to drinking, they'll have little time to work, especially if the drinking is done during productive hours and productive age, where somebody is young, is supposed to work and earn. So there is direct linkage between this alcoholism and poverty.
And then it makes the person poor, though the drink doesn't cost enough money. But if you calculate that every day you have to spend at least 500 or 1,000 shillings for the drink, at the end of the month it becomes a lot of money. And then if the person is not able to cater for the money, we might think that he or she might go to some extra length and start stealing to get the money or getting to borrowing. And then we are not surprised sometimes when down there in the trading center, we are having fights, people fighting among themselves because one got drunk and then he talked badly, or he just went and started beating other people, so people come and kind of try to cool him, which is not okay.
The greatest problem of alcoholism here is that most of the persons indulged in alcoholism end up committing crimes, social crimes, like armed robbery, even killing. Then with the ladies, they end up being raped, you see. They end up being abused, they end up being beaten. Actually brings out the issue of gender-based sexual violence because of chronic alcoholism.
Now when people are drunk, it brings quite some bad effects on the person himself or herself, and also on the family and on the society at large.
The violence is both in the community and inside the family.
Yes, there is also that kind of domestic violence. Then there's child abuse at times, then child neglect. Those are kind of issues that come up because people say, okay, fine, the children are out, but some of them don't really take responsibility for those children that they have already brought out.
The person who drinks and gets drunk lacks concentration. The person cannot take care of the family.
Here, women are the ones who produce food, both from granary, from farming, from cooking. So when the man comes drunk and there's no food, he himself, he has not provided food, definitely he becomes violent to the family, including the children.
Children could be beaten for any other simple kind of reason. And when the husband comes back home, for example, and food is not prepared, food that he might not really have bought, you find that at a certain point might decide to beat up the whole family.
Sometimes when the husband is drunk, he can start beating the wife, the kids, or if it is the woman who is drunk, she might forget to cook for the family. And then the kids go about hungry, and then that also can bring some bad effects on the upbringing of the kids. So we don't, sometimes when we go into families where one of the partner is a drunkard or both of them, we might see that there is no peace in that family, there is no joy, there is no life as such in that family.